this is going to just be me bitching about RWBY, so if you really like RWBY, please leave, because as a writer, this show had so much potential and it is just now 4 friends go to JRPG monster hunting school. Real quick, when the creator of RWBY was alive, Monty Ohm, the story was very basic, but he laid out a lot of hints at other plot points that he wanted to get to and explore. With his tragic death, the story was left in the air, and people who did not love this baby like Monty did were left in charge of it. So they're just tossing anything together that they can think of and tying up plot holes because no one is checking the damn plot, it seems. This video is, yeah, you know what? This video is an opposition of video. Throw up the titles and play the music. We're getting into it. This is a very angry rant about why RWBY should have been laid to rest a long time ago. Let's go in order, shall we? Adam Taurus was first shown to us in the Black trailer with Blake and was shown to be an important character to the plot. And he should have been. He should have been. But he went from leader of the White Fang, who are an oppressed people in the world of RWBY, and he goes from that to some jaded ex-boyfriend of Blake's with a creepy obsession for an underage girl. Which is gross and weird, and can we stop trying to shove this plot into everything? Adam was shoved from one bad plotline to the next until they just killed him off. Which, before someone says, but it was so we could get Blake and Yang together. Guys, why does everyone want to use trauma as a vector for their ships? Can your ships not just grow on their own organically? Here's a good example. Right? When Blake and Yang are talking in the classroom as Yang explains her black backstory and Blake is dead tired, that is organic. They are talking about personal events in their life and making a connection because of it. Organic growth between two people from wildly different backgrounds is good character development. Then when the attack on Beacon happens and Yang loses her arm to defend her friend, that was only adding to the growth that started in other episodes. And then all of that growth went down the drain with everything else they did. They break up the band when Beacon falls, when instead the gang should have stayed together because they just fought a whole army of monsters and won. That should have been the wake-up call to gather their allies. Weiss to try and get her sister to help. Blake can still go home and get the support of the White Fang who are not under Adam. Or hell, even Adam himself to help, because until the ending they gave the two of them, he was just her old partner. BTW, right, for those in the back, partner can mean a lot of things. It doesn't always have to mean a love interest. Yang can finally have that talk with her mom, which put a pin in that. We are going to be coming back to Raven because I got a bone to pick with that plotline. Jesus Christ. This is going to be a long video. Apologies to my editor. Adam would have been a great ally to have because it is shown from the trailer alone that fighting him would have been hard. He can one-shot a tank with that sword of his. Adam would have been a great boss fight for the girls because of their skills from one fight to the next are honestly like lackluster and lacking, and we don't really see them improve. Like, it kind of happens all at once and then suddenly, oh, they're better now. Hashtag girl power. Yes, slay queen. No. This is not how you write about them getting better. I think we see them train like 4 or 5 times in the whole damn series. And train is a strong word because not really. When a show is a visual medium, right, you need to be able to make the passage of time feel natural to the viewer, because if you do not, then it feels like the longest weekend ever for some people. I swear to God, I was not aware of how much time had passed until I saw snow falling in the damn show, telling me that time had indeed gone from one season to the next. Like, where the hell did fall go? We went from one season and skipped a whole other one to tell us winter had come and time had passed. And I cannot think of any other significant plot points other than that because it was just so jarring for me that it kind of messed me up for like 10 minutes when I put it on pause to think, did I miss something? No. Unless you shift focus to someone else for a hot second, like an episode or two, then your passing of time feels hollow. It really does. Adam was a blank slate too for most of the show, which was not a bad thing, but being that he was part of an oppressed people in this world, right? The world of Remnant, they might have wanted to handle him with more grace than what they did. I swear to God I can talk, I'm aggravated about this. Here, if I was to rewrite Adam, first of all, love interest would be nowhere near his plotline. He and Blake would have been separated because of a difference in ideology, and since his goals and her dreams could not coexist, The only right move was leaving each other behind to grow in their own personal directions. Do you see what I just did there? I immediately validated both of these people are the agency over their own plot lines, and they also have to intersect later. But it does not affect how their plot lines grow, because guess what? You are allowed to have ideological differences from your friends. You guys don't have to agree on something. I know people who sit there and tell me, oh, Nutella's the best thing ever. I hate Nutella. I don't get people's fascination with it. But good on you. I'm really glad whoever likes Nutella likes Nutella. I don't. I like peanut butter. Even though, I really just like peanut butters with apples and only PB&Js. But also I have the palate of a 6-year-old, so that's not really anything to go over. But I digress. I have now tangented myself for no reason. Where was I? Oh yeah. When Blake and Adam meet up again, right? It's not as a creepy ex-lover, but as former allies. And when he calls her my love, because he did love her, but not like that, because if we're gonna keep the plot lines the same, fine. He can have that one creepy line, and we're gonna move on. He would have loved her like an older brother loved his little sister, and if he was alone, right, like he had no one, which he indicates in the show, then Blake might have filled a role in his life. But in my rewrite, when Adam and Blake make back up when the fall of Beacon is happening, he doesn't call her that, right? Just because that's not what I wanted them to do, and that's not where we're going with this. And in my rewrite, when Adam and Blake meet back up, right, when the fall of Beacon is happening, instead of running away, Blake calls into question why would he ally with Cinder and her crew. Adam would then be able to explain that, Cinder threatened the White Fang, the people Adam wanted to protect and help, and in exchange for helping her, she would supply him with weapons and the support he needed. The fight would still happen, right? But you would be able to understand him more and would feel a lot less creepy and a lot less like people were just throwing stuff in at the last second, and it would cover up some of these huge ass plot holes, man. Jesus Christ. There's so many. It isn't even a plot hole anymore. It's a plot crater, and it keeps getting deeper every season. Adam should have gotten a better story than just being shoved into whatever villain role they needed to fill before just getting mad and killing him off. Guys, you can do better than this. The best writing ever done by Rooster Teeth was done when they were doing the OG Red vs. Blue, like season 1 to 4, back when they were stuck in the box canyon before they tried to shove a lot of plot into it. RWBY was fun, like Red vs. Blue was for a bit when Monty was in charge, and now it's just so slow, like slower than it needs to be. Oh my god. And it shows how slow it is when you talk about the maidens. The maidens are just... I'm sorry. I've gotten to a point where I'm stuttering because okay. The maidens are just a red herring, right? That they use whenever they need to get out of a corner, and it is extremely expressive when you talk about Raven Bronwyn, Yang's mother. See, I told you I would come back to this point. Trust the process. Why did she need to be a maiden? Like, why? She was a cool badass when we saw her on the train when she saves Yang from Neo. She didn't need to be a maiden because Raven was already a cool character before we even got a proper introduction to her. The fact that Yang was looking for her, that she had left her kid behind and her brother was a spy, all of it made for a really compelling base for a character that we do not meet. But once we do, right? Once we do meet her, it is a lackluster introduction at best and criminally underwhelming at worst. If she had been nothing but a mystery, that would have been good for her. Sometimes, certain people in books, TV shows, and the like, sometimes they need to be just that, a mystery, because it is helping push a different person in the plot to their ultimate end goal and true arc completion. Yang looking for her mom and never finding her, that would have been fine. But it would have also been a good arc for Raven. Raven being the maiden it just made the whole story so dumb, because if maiden powers could only be traded between the original maiden and the last person they think of, then if Raven dies, her power will go to Yang, and if Winter dies, who is now the current Winter Maiden, Weiss will get the Winter Maiden powers, because Winter loves Weiss, and that would be her last thought. Do you see what happens? All 4 girls will become maidens through some bullcrap excuse for the stupid plot. The story would be better if they got rid of the maidens as a whole, because so far they have very little plot relevance. Now here's where I need to backtrack on this, right? Monty might have put them in for a reason, but whatever his original reason was has been lost. I have to put that in here because I am aware of it, but it still makes me upset that nobody would try to figure out how to make this work with this little to no context since Monty died so suddenly. I'm being serious. If somebody explains an idea to you and it's an actual project that you're working on and they're the main, backer and pusher for this thing, and their sudden demise, right? F in the chat, Jesus Christ. If their sudden demise means they've left plot holes that you will have to inevitably answer, I would not just be starting to grab anything from anime in general and trying to shove it in and make it work, because it doesn't. Like, you've missed the entire point of this. You need to actually take a minute, figure out kind of maybe what they might have wanted if you were friends, and go from there. So far, it doesn't feel like that. And it boggles my mind, like, it really does. This is no longer 3 guys in their apartment making funny videos for the internet. This is now a huge company, and no one has enough money between them to hire at least one good writer, one good animator, one good anything, because so far this whole show started out fun and great and with so much promise, and now it is just a lot of suffering. Tangent on this though, the one cool thing they did was when they showed us the apathy on Brunswick Farm. That was cool and a good choice to show us a different kind of Grimm. Too bad they never did that again, and they should have, or at least a ton more with the Grimm and auras and souls, because souls, it seems, are falling into that trap like Harry Potter and the Horcruxes. Okay, this is a little just side note. I realized my spelling was so bad, I literally wrote Horcruxes instead of Horcruxes, and I automatically knew what I was trying to say. Oh my god, I am so bad at writing when I'm doing this shit at, oh my god, I should be asleep hours. Anyway, souls can be split and stuffed into puppets to make them human. I am talking about Penny. Penny dies, right? But then they bring her back. But instead of that being cool, they make it horrible. Penny dying and coming back means 2 things. 1, it means that souls can be split more than once, and that's dumb since we do not know how big a soul even is, or what a soul even is in this universe, and since nobody can prove or disprove a soul in real life, I feel like we should start to shy away from that since it is a concept that sparks too much debate in real life and just, whatever. It's not important. Anyway, 2, right, point 2 to this is they could have done a lot with that plot point. Penny would have come back with no memory of RWBY and the others, so meeting them again, it would be a new Penny, who had no connection to them and therefore did not trust them. She would be more trusting of Winter, of Ironwood, of the new team they meet in Atlas. This would mean that we, the audience, would be just as gutted because we liked Penny when we met her the first time around, and we were upset when she died the first time around. Suddenly seeing her again, we would be just as happy as the girls, like, oh my god, you're still alive, and then Penny just, her having no memory of Team RWBY would make us feel anything in this show, because for me personally, it has been a headache to get through. And now all I can think of is, who's going to come back to life next? Ozpin? Oh wait, he already did that. They should bring back Pyrrha. She was cool and I liked her. They did her dirty, man. Like, really. If we're gonna just start bringing people back from the dead, can we bring back actual cool characters, or at the very least, bring back fun characters, or a combination therein of, please? Like, I know Roman Torchwick was a villain in this, but I really did enjoy his character because he was fun. Also, Neo was fun too when she was allowed to be herself around Roman, because, it was interesting and it was cool. And then somebody told me that there were RWBY books, and I was like, oh, really? That's interesting. And then I read them, and I found out, no, it's not. It's not at all like that, because they turned Neo from the fan theory of, well, her and Roman are, like siblings and bros and blah, 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 and they've been together forever, and no, that's not at all what happens. Neo's just a spoiled rich kid who wanted to go do bad stuff, and Roman is just a street urchin that got sick of taking orders from other people, and it's... You know what they should have killed, actually? Because if I go down that rabbit hole anymore with Cinder and Neo, I'm gonna... Cinder? Roman. I just spoiled who I wanted them to kill. They should have killed Cinder at this point in the show, because I have lost the plot with this woman. They need to have someone, a skilled writer, right? A really skilled writer, go over their whole show and write the next season so some of these plot holes are filled, or at the least explained to us. I have seen people try to explain the plot holes, explain the Grimm, try to rewrite the seasons, and none of it works. It's time to just let the show die and give those artists that they did hire a break. Rooster Teeth really needs to get their stuff together, because all of this could have been better. And I don't mean that to sound like a really judgmental person, right, on the internet, because let's be realistic here. Everybody can do that. But they should have The show when it first started, right? Especially certain fights in the beginning part of the series, are fun. Because guess what? It's a show about going to JRPG monster hunting school, and also there are certain plot points that need to be told to us, and John, right? Based off of John Arc, that stupid blonde boy that they're now trying to make into the main character that nobody cares about. He was supposed to be the vector for us, the audience, to learn things through, because he's just, in the beginning, an idiot. Like, really, that was his main purpose. Spoiler alert, you're allowed to write characters like that to be vectors for the audience, that way the audience doesn't know it, they don't know it, there's your connection, let me explain stuff to you so you're not as lost. I'm still lost. They don't explain anything in this show, and it's absolutely infuriating. I have a feeling that this is gonna get dinged because Rooster Teeth might not like this video, but also I really don't care. Ding me. I'm not wrong. And also I have a Patreon, so if this gets dinged, it's going over there, okay? Bye. Not bye for the video, just bye as in I want this show to just end, because at this point, they're not going to make it better, and there's no way to make it better unless they completely scrap everything they're doing. Who's ever doing the artistry, good job. I like what you're doing. You need to do better on fight scenes, but also some people are just more skilled at that, and I think you should maybe hire one of these kids that does a lot of stuff on YouTube. Just go looking, you'll find them. But the writing team needs a break, or at the very least, an injection of giving a crap. I swear to God. The TLDR of this, right, is that this needs to be just better, and somebody on this team needs to absolutely go through this with a fine-tooth comb and try to make it better, like they really do. That being said, that's it. That's all I've got. I'm gonna thank all of you again for showing up to listen to me complain about something. I want to thank my editor for doing such a great job. I want to thank the religious people who show up to this and just listen to me. And I would really like to thank everybody who just stops by to listen to me as well. Big thank yous. I hope all of you are safe. Have a wonderful rest of your week and day.